And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another weekly Twitch streaming session by the Slytherin Group. My name is Surtur from Slytherin, and tonight I will be presenting to you for the first time Scourge of War Waterloo, the new game by Norpsoft Dev. We've got a couple of guys from the development team here in the chat. They can be recognized from their NSD tags or Norpsoft Dev tags. So fire away any questions you might have in the chat here, and we'll try and answer them. Of course, in order to do this, you will need to have a Twitch account, which is for free, so feel free to sign up and also to subscribe to our channel. Many might already be familiar with the Norpsoft games, known from the Scourge of War series, Scourge of War Gettysburg, the most famous one. For the first time, we're actually not doing a civil war, we're doing a Napoleonic game, which was often requested by the fans, and of course the Norpsoft Dev team was more than willing to help the fans out and give them what they want. So here we are in the main menu, and we're gonna touch upon a couple of features that are in the game. To be honest, this game is really huge, so I won't be able to show nearly everything I would like to today. First of all, you can see we got single player in there, we got multiplayer in there, and we got modification support in there as well, so people can create their own mods, etc. So this game is about the Battle of Waterloo. It is a real-time game, and I'm going to hit the single player button here, and it allows you to recreate sections of the Waterloo battle or the entire battle in one go, from all kinds of perspectives and from all kinds of positions within the order of battle of either of the armies. One of the things this game does extremely well is simulating the chain of command that would be present within the Napoleonic armies. So this really is a battle simulator, much more than a real-time strategy clickfest, basically. People, of course, hearing real-time strategy often think of like games where speed is more important than thinking. In this game, definitely thinking takes precedent, as you cannot continuously order your troops around everywhere. So what we got here, we got the Waterloo battles, which are basically the 20 battles taking place in and around the Battle of Waterloo. So these are pre-made scenarios that come with the game. There are 20 of them, and from different perspectives. We got the sandbox campaign, and I'm going to show you a little bit of that in a second because it was requested in the chat already. This is actually one of the new features within the game, and this will allow you to give some strategic context to your sandbox battles. So you will be moving your army around on a strategic map, and when they clash, you will zoom in basically into the battle. And then we have here the sandbox game, which allows you to set up your own battle. You can choose a map where you want to fight. You can choose any position within the chain of commands. You can choose Napoleon to play as Napoleon or one of his many commanders or officers up to brigade level. And of course you can go for the English as well, playing as the Duke of Wellington or the Prussians under Blücher. You can select the size of your battle from brigade to army, the type of battle you want. There are a ton of things to customize, and this can also be done in multiplayer, so there's a ton of stuff really to play. So let's briefly create a campaign to show you what that's about. So you create a campaign. Let's call this stream campaign. You select the type and you select who you want to play as. So in this case, we're going to play as the let's select the French here, and let's select the starting town, and you embark. Something that should be known: this campaign is not historical. This campaign is a sandbox campaign. So that means it is, again, you don't follow the exact steps Napoleon did. You can for quite a big deal. But yeah, it's very much sandbox game. So here you can see I start out here, and I can select my army and move it across and play in real time. Of course, you can speed up the time as well. And as you get from one place to another, you're going to split up your armies. You're going to select, so you're going to detach armies, and you're going to give them separate orders and get more map control that way. Right, so I detached one group of my army, and I'm going to move it the other side. So I'm not going to spend too much time here for now because I really want to focus on the battles, which are the most important things here within Scourge of War. But this is one feature requested by a lot of fans, so I wanted to show it briefly anyway. The strategic map. So you have to fight on these objective cities basically. And again, when your army clashes with another army, a sandbox battle will be generated. So we're going to quit here and we're going to get back into the menu. I'm going to press single player, and first I'm going to load you up one of the battles, because one of the awesome things about Scourge of War is the huge armies that you can have on the field at any given time. So I'm going to load up one of the scenarios here as the French on the army level, and as you can see, each scenario has a nice introduction, a summary, how long is it, a nice map, where is it taking place, what's happening, as well as a huge biography of the person you're playing. And of course the scenario author is listed as well. So I'm going to launch mission number 10, which is the French army level mission, where basically it is you get control over the entire French army. And this is just here to show you like how big these battles can get if you want them to. If you don't want them to, you can keep them smaller. That's where the flexibility of this game really comes in. So here we are in one of the battles, and let's just quickly, you get your standing orders. Let's just quickly open the map here. And this is where we are. We got our entire army here, and we have to advance on the British lines to our north. And I'm going to show you here just how big this battle is. As you can see, I got troops listed everywhere. And all of these troops can partake in the game. Obviously, if I were to play this now, it would get very complicated very quickly. So I'm going to jump in a bit smaller game in a second for you guys to show around. To teach you guys the basics of the game here. But I just wanted to give you this overview of just how large this game can get. You can tweak the settings for your graphic settings if your PC is struggling. There's a lot of customization options for quality, distance you can view, etc. So that should be fine. But I just wanted to show you like how huge these armies are. This is really the power of the game, being able to show this amount of troops at any given time. And all of these units are not under direct control, they're under control of their direct officers, which I have to direct. And then it will follow the proper chain of command. Right. Today I'm going to play a different scenario. So we're going to jump again into Waterloo battles, and we're going to play one of the Allied scenarios. And the Allied come in different sizes. They come under the British, under Wellington, or under the Prussians. They have their own scenarios. Here, for example, we got like you're defending the famous chateau. We got even some of the Dutch out there. Shout out to the Dutch everywhere. Under Wellington, of course, great deal of the Duke's troops came from the Low Countries. Some actually experienced troops fought with Napoleon in previous campaigns. And you got the Prussians as well, which joined later in the battle, coming in from the east. So we're going to play this one, a division-sized battle fought from the Prussian side. And it's going to take us 30 minutes. That's the length of play we have in order to achieve our goals. And we are in command of the 16th Brigade of the 4th Corps of the Army of the Lower Rhine. So we got on historic difficulty settings. Difficulty settings come in green, experience, historic, and grognard. And we get a brief overview of the situation here. The French 4th Corps has fallen back to the line of the Plancenois village. And the village is the last defensive position on the right flank of the French army. So we're going to take them out and get that village back into Prussian hands. So these are the forces available to us. We got 16th Brigade commanding the 15th Infantry Regiment, etc. So you got entire lists, so you get a detailed order of battle, and all of this has been researched by the historians on the team. There's really a ton of work went into historical research for this game, and it's really a huge achievement by the team that they managed to get into this detail for this battle. Again, you got the nice biography of the guy you're playing as, so you get all the immersion you want here, really. And basically, this is our victory condition. We got to achieve a number of victory points here. Victory points are done by basically killing the enemy, or of course by maintaining victory locations on the map. In this case, it would be the town of Plancenoit. So having said that, we're going to kick into this scenario. We got some of the lovely loading screens here as well, which are of course very awesome paints of the Waterloo battle. Right, question here. Could you go over the battle UI? Yes, we are going to do that now. I just started this battle here, and this is me. I'm indicated by the this symbol here, and I am in control of these troops here. So I got these infantry guys over here under me. I got a small group of cavalry over here, and I got a battery of artillery here. So the way I command these troops is I can either select these units and move them forward simply and directly. So, and as you can see, a courier moves from my position to the unit I'm controlling, arrives, and the unit starts moving as per my orders. Another way of doing it is selecting not the unit themselves, but their direct commander. So I'm going to select him, and you can see by the symbols here that he's in command of these troops. So if I'm going to give him an order, a pop-up menu will create, and I say move there, move in the column by divisions formation. And the couriers will go from my position to the position of the officer, and in a second you can see couriers going from the officer's position to his direct subordinates, bringing over the orders, and we can see placement flags and destination symbols appear on where the units are going to march. Do messengers get lost or shot and killed? Yes, that will happen. Or well, if you manage it right, it won't happen, but it can definitely happen. You can even intercept messages from the enemy, which is really a blast in multiplayer. So going over it again, what I'm going to do with this guy, I have to take the town here, and one of the victory locations here is the church, and it's defended by a good number of French guys over here. There's French artillery over here, and let's take a look at the map for a quick overview. So we're coming in from the east, and we have to take out this city. This is basically our force. So we got our guys moving forward and being attacked and targeted by the enemy artillery. So this guy I am gonna set on the offensive, and then I'm gonna move it forward into the church to do a first attack on it. I'm also gonna take direct command of my artillery, so I can move it forward. And taking direct command is a feature that basically allows you to say, I don't want the AI controlling this, I want to take full command of this unit myself. This will allow you to do a lot more micromanagement. Right, so I'm sending I gave them the offensive order here, so the offensive stance, and I'm going to send them forward as well. And as you see, they're already starting to deploy their own skirmishers, and they're going to try and send them forward as well. Next, I'm going to move in my second line, and I'm going to use my second line basically to keep my left flank secure. There are some French cavalry over here, there's French cannons over here, and a good deal of infantry. So I'm going to move them here, I'm going to keep them in the column by divisions formation, and I'm going to set them to defend Excellent point here by Chuck. Yes, the as indicated by the flag above the church, there are actually French troops inside the church. This is a new feature to the Scourge of War engine, part of the update here. So there are troops inside here that can fire from inside the building. Of course, this is a huge thing, having that in the Battle of Waterloo, and this is simulated here. So we're fighting over the church, and hopefully soon I will be able to enter the church myself. So yes, garrisoning buildings is a thing now in the Scourge of War series. So I'm going to move up my artillery a bit. I think it's safe to do so, so to get a better view of the enemy. Next, I got my third line of units here, and I'm just going to move them up, but keep them in reserve for now. So again, I'm going to move them up in column by divisions formation and set them to hold. They might deploy their own skirmishers. They will scout a bit and move forward a bit. That's fine. But they won't commit major troop numbers. Not all buildings can be garrisoned, Maximus. Only the big ones, like the big farms that were famous in the Waterloo battle, as well as here the church, which is obviously a very central building. But yeah, it's only the big ones that can really be garrisoned. Also, because basically our troop numbers are too great to let them enter basic houses, etc. in their entirety. So I'm going to move up my cavalry here as well, but I don't want to use it just yet. I'd like to use it at some point to chase off this pesky artillery here, because if I'm going to try and outflank the enemy church, I want to get rid of the artillery, because otherwise their shrapnel rounds will tear me to pieces. Yes, so the fort symbol here, as you can see by the golden symbol here, indicates that this is a garrisonable building, and the 1,000 indicates the capacity of troops it might hold. The symbol here indicates that it's a victory location that's currently contested. So hopefully we'll get our flag up there later in the mission. So you can see I set our units to offensive, and they're slowly creeping up closer to the enemy, and they already deployed their own skirmishers that are moved up and that are firing. Question was, how far can you zoom in? You can zoom in really far and get right down to the action if you want. Personally, I prefer to keep a bit more of an overview of the battle and track of my units, but that's all up to you. We can see our artillery is starting to creep forward now. Gonna have you guys move up, and I'm gonna move myself now as well. Clicking on the Go To Me button immediately brings me to my location, which is very convenient, and I'm gonna move myself forward, and the reason for that is obviously that my couriers won't take as long to deliver orders. The negative side to this, of course, is there's the danger of you dying if you get into the line of fire. So you always have to balance that. So for now, I've let the AI mostly do the work themselves. I'm going to take a bit more direct control in a second. Yes, people are asking here if HITS is still in. In case you're not familiar with the term, HITS means HQ in the saddle, where basically the camera is tied to the general itself, giving you the full simulation experience. So you're directly tied to your general, and you have to move around. Actually, they now added direct movement for this mode, where it wasn't before. So this is another improvement compared to the earlier games. So my troops are moving forward. I started engaging the enemy. We can see French troops falling here already. Of course, unfortunately, some Prussians as well. And we can see our skirmishers doing some of the work. Okay, now I'm going to take control of all these guys directly, and I'm going to position them to keep the flanks secure. So we can see the French on the other side of the stream are already firing. So I need to position myself to counter that. It's already getting a bit messy here, to be honest. More so than I would want to. It's the effect of talking and playing at the same time here. Yes, pathfinding around buildings, etc. is much improved, though it's still very much a challenge to have it all going correctly with all these units. Got some nice firing here. We got units coming into position here, setting up a defensive line. And we managed to charge some French troops which have surrendered here now. So that's definitely a good thing. I'm still not happy about these though, so let's see if I can use my cavalry to chase them off. As you can see, no courier was dispatched for this order because of my proximity to the unit itself. So if you're close enough, not even a courier is needed because they will just be able to hear what you're shouting at them, basically. As you can see, we managed to get up a nice line here. The reason is I'm kind of afraid of these cavalry joining the fray. And we can hear some shrapnel shots being fired there, which is not good at all. No, I don't want you. I want you guys. I'm going to move my units forward. Try and get around the church. So we're getting close to the enemy RT here, and the enemy is actually dispatching couriers, and we're intercepting their messages saying like, "Hey guys, move out." I'm going to move forward again to keep up with the moving front line. Oop, and we keep intercepting messages. Yes, a frontal charge up to the battery can hurt a lot, but they were occupied shooting other things, so it actually managed to go quite well for me. I'm going to set them to more attacking stance as well. Come on guys, you can do it. As you can see, the context menu, when I right click on a flag, depends on the action they're in at the moment. So these guys are fighting, so I get all kinds of commands related to fighting. For example, I can make them charge now. And it's not the best opportunity, but it's a good way to show what's actually happening. If they don't refuse the order, of course. Let's see if they keep being that persistent. Yes, they are. Right, I'm getting a bit wary of all the skirmishery units out there. They make it a bit difficult to read the battlefield. So I'm going to unsplit them. And they join their regiment again. Nope. Tried to unsplit one unit that couldn't be unsplitted. So my cavalry is chasing off the enemy. You actually managed to capture one of the guns, which is firing to the other side right now. At some point though, their infantry will join in and stop this little party from happening. Until then, it's nice. It gives me some free space to move around here, as you can see. Otherwise, it would be catching shrapnel here right now. And I'm gonna take direct command of you guys. I don't really have the need for the skirmisher units anymore, because we're already fully engaged. And because this is a smaller battle, I can't take direct command of most of my troops. If I were to do this in a huge battle, of course, you would lose track of everything. Even more so than I'm doing now. So we're firing away at the enemy here, we're firing away at the enemy here, and I'd like to get these guys out of the way so I can get a full surround there. My cavalry seems to be doing fine on its own for now. I'm fine with sacrificing them, to be honest. So we're pounding away heavily on these guys here, and you can see they're slowly retreating while still fighting. This is also one of the orders you can give. Rather than just charge and flee directly, you can say, okay, slowly retreat, or slowly advance while shooting, which is the option here. And this will make them slowly getting closer with the enemy. And we got a couple of troops already fleeing from the church here. So that's very good news for us, obviously, because we want to clear the church and then occupy it ourselves. And Norb just in there to pop in and say thank you all for watching. I very much agree. It's really cool for you to join us tonight or today, depending on the time zone you're in, obviously. So we got these guys here engaging as well, and I'm going to try and move them forward to get more of a surround on the enemy. So I'm going to give them new orders to set up here and keep on the defensive for now. As you can see, these guys are on the defensive rather than the offensive, so they stay a bit behind compared to the guys here. And we got the guys here run away. These guys, I cannot imagine them holding out for long there. We actually got one of their commanders here as well. He's nice, lying there next to his horse. Well, nice, depending on the on your perspective, obviously. And again, this game lets you play the game from both sides, so you can play the French or you can play the Allies, depending on which you prefer. So if you want to get into the challenge of actually winning the Battle of Waterloo as the French, you can do that with this game. There's also a huge amount of difficulty levels to tweak. For example, if you don't like these couriers being dispatched every time, and if you want to have more direct control, the game allows you to set up your options precisely as you want it, saying, I want couriers to no couriers to be dispatched at all, or only on certain levels within the chain of command. So our cavalry is being a bit stagnating here, but they're doing their job very well. And as you can see here, even though it's just a small group, the threat of actually having cavalry close by makes them deploy in a square. We can see some bigger squares later on, or I can perhaps even form one for you, because it's actually quite cool to see. So let's take these guys for example. They're not doing anything anyway, and let's order them into a square. Again, right click opens up the pop-up menu. If you don't like it, if you prefer the old style, you can disable these context menus if you wanted so. I really like them. They only show you the options that are really relevant at that very moment. So it could be useful for new players as well, not to get overwhelmed immediately. So here we can see that moving into a square. This is a much denser square because the unit obviously has a much more troops in it. So here we can see a much denser one. And again, if units are not engaged, they will try and form them automatically when they see cavalry approaching. There are times, however, where they're firing on the enemy in a line, and the cavalry coming up from the rear might surprise them. And actually, the church is clear now, so I'm going to order my troops to run inside and take it. And I'm showing now, again, one of the 20 single-player missions the game comes with, letting you experience the battle from all kinds of perspective. My cavalry has had enough of it and is running away now, which makes perfectly sense, but they did an awesome job nonetheless. In multiplayer you can play some pre-made scenarios as well, or generate your own with the sandbox engine, and that one is extremely flexible to create all kinds of battles on all levels within the chain of command, so you can make them as big or as small if you want. And I think you can have up to 32 players in the multiplayer. You can play in co-op against the AI, you can play by yourself altogether, or just 1v1. It's extremely flexible, the system. Very cool thing about multiplayer to really let you simulate the big battles is not to talk to each other directly on Skype or whichever way you use, but to use the courier system, which can also be used in single player, but it's not as convenient. So if I select here the courier menu, I can compose a message, and I can compose a message to anyone under my command or next to me or above me, anyone in the army. So I can set a recipient, I can set a time and date of what I want to do, I can give a basic order, I can give a support or a request, or I can type free text, and this is where multiplayer comes in. So you can just type the message like help me on my left to the relevant player, so you can get into a real simulation actually of Napoleonic battles, where your courier has to go up to your ally in order to send the message or to send the request or to team up on what to do. And again, this courier can be intercepted, and if it's intercepted by the enemy, it can actually be read by the enemy, so the enemy will know what you're up to. That's why multiplayer is really an awesome mode for this game. So if you're going to grab this game, be sure to try out the multiplayer at least once. I'm sure you're going to love it. So our troops are creeping up to the church. Come on guys, go inside and grab it. We got the church here. Now I'm going to move myself close as well. I'm up here already. We got the 3rd battalion in here. I can select the unit, I can give it orders if I want to. Right now I want to take full command of it and let it out of the regular chain of command. Now I have to push for the crossroads here in order to take them out completely. So I'm going to move this unit over here and let it advance, and I'm going to give it this guy in support. And we can see all the casualties here, especially after a battle, just scrolling the map, seeing all the casualties, imagining the sheer size of the battles you're fighting. This is something that really very few other games achieve this sense of skill into a battle. Waterloo is of course a great theater for this kind of huge line battles. So I'm very happy the Norb team managed to pull it off here. It's an extreme amount of work that went into it. The guys worked all very hard to get it to the level where it is now, and again, it turned out really awesome. This is still pre-release. I should say that. So there might be changes, there might be improvements made leading up to the release. But you can see they're already very far ahead with the game, and right, good point here made by Connor. The status window, I should say. If you want more details on your unit, selecting a unit here gives you a couple of details. Gives you the number of men, the unit grade, or basically its effectiveness, the amount of casualties it has received, and the amount of casualties it has inflicted. You get the morale bar, you get the fatigue bar. If you want more details though, you can check the status, and here you get everything into detail. So you get the modifiers that are in place, you get the current target, which is nothing because everything is outside of the target area for this unit. You get to see what they're doing, the amount of men, morale, fatigue, ammunition, and the skills of each unit. And again, these are all based on historical skills, or how the unit performed in real life. Also, if you want more details on the weapon itself, you can click the weapon tab, and you got like the optimum range, you got the maximum range, reload time, and the ammunition. And of course you got different weapons represented here. Here we got the Prussian Model 1782, we got the British riflemen in there as well, the famous rifles that picked off all the Napoleonic units at range. And there is a new order of battle tab as well if you're getting lost in here, especially in one of the bigger battles and everything that's happening, which is, to be honest, very much possible in the bigger battles. You get the order of battle tab, and this allows you to go directly through the order of battle from any side you want. Or you can go to yourself directly, of course, and you can go through it. You can select anyone under any commander and say like go to the selected unit, and you will go there. I selected someone outside of the combat area, or at least outside of my own command, to my right. This is a great way of navigating the order of battle and finding your way throughout all these troops. So we're engaging the enemy here at the crossroads. There are quite a bunch of them, but we got some reinforcements coming here into their flanks. So we're going to have them move up quickly. As the courier arrives. As you can see, units are delayed by difficult terrain, whether it's trees, fences, this case stones, or walls. And we see we got the objective secure now, so we've got the Anglo-Prussian flag up there. Also, yes, as an extra touch to like the historical setting, All of the units have their names in their native languages. So here we got the Schlesische Landwehrregiment. Sorry for my German. So we got French names in there, we got German names in there, we got Dutch names in there, and of course we got English names in there. Is there a volley button, or is there always continuous fire? Yes, there's definitely a volley button. It's right over here. You can select it yourself, or the AI will choose it. A good volley would do great morale damage, obviously. So that's a great thing to do. Come on guys, why aren't you going up there? Right, there we go, there's the courier coming in. So there is a volley button. You can take full control of that if you want, or you can let the AI do it. And that's really what this game is about. It's about the flexibility of you playing the game in any style you might want. Do it as a full sim, doing from the HQ in the saddle basically, and command everything from indirectly or from your horse only when you're nearby, or take a more direct approach by turning off the couriers and doing everything by yourself directly and quickly. You can set it up any way you would like and on any difficulty, so you can also tweak the enemy strength or the enemy morale if you find the game too easy or too hard. And these are all, so you can use custom presets for difficulty or tweak it yourself in a custom setting. That's quite ideal. So let's see, we're doing quite well actually. We managed to secure this. We're pushing away the enemy here with these guys coming in closer as well. We got another unit up here, the flanks is going to engage probably these guys, but they outnumber them quite a bit, so they should be able to manage. Our cavalry is might go for another run, but they really did a good job at chasing off these artillery, which were first all the way up to this line. And we can see French units routing from there. Fortunately they went just outside of range. And I'm just going to try and charge these units here. The AI indeed is very good with squares. They usually find and form them by themselves, but using that's why using cavalry in concurrence with the artillery and the cavalry is very important. We're getting a slight hiccup here. Give me 1 second to fix this. Yes, the time is up. We played for half an hour and we've won a major victory, giving us a 1088 score. So we managed to secure the church, basically secure the village, and we managed to avoid engaging all of the French forces to our left and to our right. So this is basically the screen you get after the scenario. Yeah, a text saying what has happened. You can go into the high scores, where you can see previous battles and check that. You can save the replay if you want to, and exit the battle. Yes, the Times is very unbiased, of course. We're happy to say that the Prussians won a nice victory. So you can save the replay and watch it later on, which is very cool for multiplayer matches as well, to analyze what your opponent did and how it actually managed to outsmart you. So you can exit the battle, you get back into the main menu. Good thing to notice that some missions actually have a carryover. For example, where you basically take with you the units from your previous mission. So if you suffered a great number of casualties in your previous mission, you will get a notice for that, and it will be much tougher to win your scenario. So yeah, you get 20 of them, and most of them you can play immediately. Some you need to play the previous mission before, so you get the carryover feature. You get the nice flags showing where it actually occurred, or you can select from here. So if you want to select Le Saint, you can do that. You get the difficulty level, and this is one from the let's load up one from the French perspective real quickly. Yeah, which is Le Saint. Gonna launch that. Oop, and there you go. See, so you first must complete the previous mission of the scenario. I didn't do it on this playthrough. There's the multiplayer here where you can set up everything by yourself and go into the multiplayer. Let's just try and load one other one. Let's load up a Dutch one. Why don't we do that? So brigade one, and the brigade is much smaller. This is the smallest command you will get. Is there time to show us the sandbox editor? I can show you a quick sandbox game in a second. Just like to show you this battle here, where you can see we got the Dutch here. With our orders just on the defensive. So there are missions where you have to attack, like the one we did previously. There are missions where you have to purely defend. Also, another feature here, veterans of the series know what these guys are doing. They're lying down to cover from artillery fire, which is actually an order you can give, which also gives a very nice amount of detail. So these guys are all doing that. You can order them to stand up or lie down. And here we got the Dutch, so they got their own flags. We got tons of historical flags in there as well. And they give especially the British Army a very colourful appearance, having all these different colours flags out there. So we got the proper English flags here. And again, all have their historical names. So we got the famous rifles here, for example, waiting. So we got that as well. And in this case, again, I'm on the defensive. So the French are coming up there. Let's show up the map. And we have to hold them off. We cannot show everything, or show everything. Not everything is shown on the map here. I mean, it's based on your difficulty setting. You can say I don't want to show any units on the map. I just want to use it for my own navigation, like it would be historically. You can say I want only to show units that are close to me, or only units that are in sight, or I want to see all of them because I don't like the fog of war feature. Again, that's something you can tweak completely by yourself. Some of the veterans will also note that the map is a lot bigger now, the mini-map, than it was in the other games, giving you a bit more information. There was a request to show the sandbox mode, so let's do that quickly before we call it a day. So we go into the single player here, and we're going to select the sandbox game, and here you can set up your own sandbox game. So we're going to choose a map. So let's go for a Grande Ville, and we're going to play as the, well, let's play as the French now this time, and let's say we do division against division. You can do corps versus corps, army versus army. You can also do corps versus corps, but take command of a division yourself, so you're under the direct command of the AI, or of another player in multiplayer. So it's very cool for co-op as well. And then you can choose what kind of division you want to take to control. So you got the division here, and let's see what kind of armies you would have. You would have some infantry, some artillery, so that's quite good. And you can choose to say balanced forces or historical forces. So historical, some divisions were stronger than the other, so the sandbox isn't balanced. If you want that, you can do that. I prefer to hit the balance forces button, so it kind of evens out, well, the balance of power really. So it increases the size of weaker divisions compared to the ones they're facing. And then you can tweak here yourself some of the parameters for the battle. So do you want to be there to be objectives in the battle or not? So do you want to fight over specific points or fight just for the sake of fighting? So you can say we're going to have 1 point in there, and we're going to give it a value, a lot high or low value. And as soon as a certain score is met, we're going to end the game, or we're going to end the game based on length. So we're going to play for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and we're going to see who has the highest score then. You can set the starting hours of the game, so choose the time when you're playing, or the objective time limit. So how long does the objective have to be in control in order to in order to win the battle. Then there's the battle type, which is like attack, defend, line of sight, and hunt them down. I really like the line of sight because it really just pushes you into a battle immediately, whereas when you're attacking or defending, you have to crush quite a big map. There's a whole lot of scouting going on with your cavalry, etc. So it's more of a strategic feel to it, which is really interesting and quite nerve-breaking for multiplayer, really. Let's go line of sight now and get a quick battle going. So you hit launch and a battle is generated based on what you chose. And as you can see from the size of the order of battle, the number of maps we have in there, the size you can choose, there's quite a lot of combinations you can make. So we spawn here, the enemy spawning right in front of us, and it's up to us to make the best of it. So you can hear the church bell ringing in the background. As you can see, this is very much a city map. So there are buildings you can take, farmhouses, the church. Artillery starts shooting as the enemy is within range, and our troops are starting to move up. Right, finding their way through the narrow streets of the buildings. As you can see, some of the improvements there in the pathfinding. And we're going to try and take out the Brits. Yes, this is a big town. The map is called Grandville for a reason. I can also order my entire division in one go should I want to, but it's not always the best thing to do actually. You to set up a line, get your ass moving. And the enemy is deciding to march forward to beat me. You're already dangerously close to the enemy. Best bring up your friends. Ah, he's already going to do that by himself. Clever guy. These guys are trying to make some space for each other here, which makes sense, but it's not really desirable at this moment. Guys, stay here. Oh, that's the I was moving my supply unit, which is not the best of ideas. The AI is perfectly capable of taking care of that. No, guys! Well, at least the skirmishers know what they have to do. Right, not quite sure what's going on here, but at least our artillery is firing. Again, this is a pre-release version. But the English are definitely knowing what way to have to march. That's the downside here. They are very scared of the English today. Right, so let's try and do it ourselves. Also, keeping your commander close gives bonuses as well. So having your direct commanders close to your troops is of course a good thing. Again, they can be killed, so that is something to keep in mind. So there's always a danger in sending them too close to the enemy. In this case, this is quite daring, really. Having myself standing up there, like, okay, come at me, while my troops are slowly retreating. I'm going to give the run order to everyone, and they're trying to find their locations again. Right, so we got a couple of brave skirmishers here that are, well, not as brave as I'd expected, because they're also clever enough to run away. Hopefully this unit will take its place and get a line going. So as you can see, terrain very much dictates the battle, because place for outflanking the enemy, etc. here is very difficult to find that. Whereas on an open battle, you got much more of that. Also, height definitely changes the way battle plays as well, with unit having high ground getting a nice bonus for that. Come on guys, run for it and try and extend the battlefield a bit. These poor guys are brave, but right, so these guys are set to volley here, so in a couple of seconds they should be unleashing one huge volley. You can imagine it takes a bit longer to get everyone ready, etc. But we should see that in a second. We got a very brave enemy commander as well, so hopefully he should die sooner or later. And we can see a very nice line forming now. And hopefully that will confuse the hell out of the enemy. These guys forming over here. And we got the rest of our units pouring back in. So again, if your commanders are not doing what you want them to do, are too scared or too aggressive, etc., you can choose to take direct command. And in small battles such as this, it's very much a possibility when you're doing a corps or an army level command. It's much more difficult, and that's really where the game becomes a challenge to play. And it's really where the art of like organizing huge bodies of men is simulated at its best. That's an excellent question, Grog Mike. No, you do not. I can select a unit, I can choose where I want it to go, and I can hold right click to order its facing upon arrival. So just by keeping the right mouse button pressed, I can do that. So you got a bit more direct command than you had to do in the previous series. So we got a very nice line coming up here. We're actually starting to match the enemy now. They got some skirmishers outflanking my flanking force, which actually shows the AI's thinking, which I'm not overly happy with. Right, so these guys are set to volley, so they're holding until everyone's ready and then shoot in one go. These guys are not set to volley, as you can see it's turned off and are shooting at will. I want these guys to shoot at will as well. So I'm going to change their order and hopefully they should start firing. And there they go. So the enemy is actually advancing here, it seems. They're slowly creeping closer. Luckily they seem to fall down as quickly as they come closer, so it should be fine for now. I am going to set up some second lines though. And like it's being set here by Chuck, you can actually stack commands. So if I select a unit, I move it somewhere, I get the context menu coming up, and I can say I want you to move there in a column by right clicking, using roads, and using it forward march, and then send them all in one go. As you can see, one courier going for all those orders. So that's another very nifty way of moving your troops about. So I'm going to try and get these units all the way up to the flank here. And usually they don't want to, they start engaging the enemy as soon as I see them. But because I have taken direct control of the unit, there's a better chance they will actually follow the orders directly. Of course, if you want a different type of battle, you can also choose to get the you can also choose to get some cavalry units in there, or just focus mainly on artillery if that's your fancy. I don't want to take direct control of you. I want you to do as you please. And we got these guys retreating, skirmishers following in to. So let's push forward. And we got, like, we hit the 10-minute mark, so we got an inconclusive fight here. So yeah, that's the quick way to set up your skirmish mode, basically, your sandbox campaign. So it's a very good way of practicing as well, trying some smaller games before you jump into the pre-made scenarios. There's of course also a tutorial to learn you the ropes. So this game will actually be available on let's go exit on July the 11th, so the Waterloo anniversary. That's all that I'm able to show you for now, unfortunately, though if there is popular demand we can obviously look into doing more of these leading up and following the release of the game. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd like to thank everyone from the Northsoft dev team for answering all the questions you guys had in the chat, and I'd like to thank you of course all for watching and hopefully joining us next time. Small announcement to be made here. The regular Twitch stream is going to move from a Wednesday to a Thursday. So next week we're going to be there on Thursday, on the same time as we did today though. But again, it's going to be Thursday, not the Wednesday. So make sure you change the date on your calendar for that. Again, thank you all for watching. Thank you for the guys from Northsoft for stopping by, and thank you for asking all the questions in the chat. The game will be releasing on the 11th of July, and it will be waiting for you to jump into the single player and of course the multiplayer, where the game really shines. Have a nice day everyone, and see you next week.